Joining us now for more on all of this, Minnesota Congressman and House Majority Whip Tom Emmer. Congressman, it's good to have you on. You know, Tim Walz, if Donald Trump didn't win, he'd be vice president tonight. How did the Harris team miss this when they vetted him for the vice presidency? How do you miss this?
You're talking about Kamala Harris. I mean, if there's someone who's probably more inept than Tim Walz, it's probably Kamala Harris, which is saying a lot because Tim Walz is probably the most incompetent, fraudulent politician in my lifetime in the state of Minnesota.
Okay, so here's Walz yesterday. He was asked about this, and he brought up Donald Trump. Wouldn't you know it?
Do you take responsibility for failing to stop this fraud in your state?
Well, certainly I take responsibility for putting people in jail. Governors don't get to just talk theoretically. We have to solve problems. And I will note, it's not just Somalis. Minnesota is a generous state. Minnesota is a prosperous state, a well-run state. We're AAA bond rated, but that attracts criminals. Those people are going to jail. We're doing everything we can. But to demonize an entire community on the actions of a few, it's lazy.
Well, actually, it is. It's Somalis. It's 78 out of the 86 people arrested are from Somalia, so this is definitely a Somalian thing. I know the Oversight Committee is investigating Walz. We just learned that. How much do you really think Tim Walz knew, and how do you hold him accountable here?
Well, listen, I said it already. Tim Walz has been an absolute fraud since he's been in office. He's lied about his military career. He's lied about when he was at something as dumb as when he was at Tiananmen Square. He was caught on national TV lying about that. He stood by while the city of Minneapolis burned down. He refused to call out the National Guard early to close that down. And now he's telling America, oh, yeah, we're doing everything we can. You know what? Tim Walz has been asleep at the wheel at best. I'm going to tell you, with the largest pandemic fraud case in the country, $250 million stolen by Feeding Our Future, which they indicted 70-some people, and the convictions keep coming. By the way, all Somalians. So for him to say that this is more than just Somalians is one, you pointed out, not accurate. Yeah, there might be one or two other people, but the vast majority come from the Somali community. By the way, I want to point out, not all Somalians are criminals, but it happens to be that this criminal activity has been committed by Somalians that are in the community in Minnesota. And Tim Walz and Keith Ellison, our Attorney General, have looked the other way. They aren't prosecuting anyone, Rob. The feds are the only ones that have been prosecuting anybody. And he talks about theoretical. Governors can't talk theoretical. This governor shouldn't even talk. This governor blew through an $18 billion surplus under his watch, taxed Minnesotans another $8 million in order to spend more than anyone has ever spent in our state government history. And by the way, where's that money going? $250 million to Feeding Our Future, that fraud case. $61 million out of the housing program that was shut down in October because it was rife with fraud. By the way, Rob, that program was created in 2020, and they estimated it was going to cost $2 million a year. Again, after just the first, 7, 8, 9 months of this year, they had already built $61 billion out of that. Try the autism. 80 autism clinics are under investigation. Why? Because Medicaid claims for autism have gone from, in 2018, roughly $3 million to $400 million in 2023.
Congressman, it's shocking. The question is, does it rise to criminality and a possible indictment for somebody like Tim Walz if he knew about this? The New York Times, and again, it's remarkable this is the New York Times. Here's the quote. The fraud persisted partly because state officials were fearful of alienating the Somali community in Minnesota. There is a perception that forcefully tackling this issue might cause backlash among the Somali community, which is a core voting bloc for Minnesota Democrats. So I want to get your reaction to that. And then just quickly, look, Tim Walz running for governor again in a year. Are the people of your state really going to put this guy back in office? Shocking.
Tim Walz has nowhere else to go. His own party doesn't want him. He was a failure as a vice presidential candidate. He embarrassed himself in our state on the national stage. He then tried to go out and be the voice, the new leader of the Democrat Party. He did this tour to Illinois and South Carolina and other places trying to occupy that spot of leadership. It went over like a fart in church, Rob. It was not well received. He came home. They boxed him out of the U.S. Senate race, and so here he is. He's got nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
You asked a very important question. The fraud under Tim Walz in his 7 short years in office is already $1 billion and climbing. And the question really is, did he know? Was this just negligent oversight, incompetence, or was someone complicit?
Yeah,
And
was
I'm
it
gonna suggest to
stupidity,
you,
which is certainly a
the reason that we
possibility?
have to investigate hard. No, it's not. When you got $1 billion going out from under your nose, it is not just incompetence.
Yeah.
Somebody had to know what was going on, and somebody needs to be held accountable, and it starts with Tim Walz, but it's a lot of other people that are supposed to be under his supervision.
All right. Appreciate you being with us, Congressman Tom Emmer. This story not going away. Good to see you. Thank you.